Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
And we begin tonight with the forecast. Fog and drizzle nearly all day.
So is that the pattern we're in for at least a while? Let's get right to meteorologist Adam Caskey for an update. Hey, Adam.
We're about halfway through this pattern. We still have another day of it, that's for sure. Looking at authority radar, activity starting to pick up late this afternoon into the evening. The heaviest action east of San Antonio on this broken line from about Nixon Smiley northeastward to Gonzales. Gonzales, that's where we have the heaviest rain at the moment. Heaviest downpour right in the heart of Gonzales. This is all pushing to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So this is going to add up here. This line that we're seeing of these training downpours really going to be adding up and helping out the drought situation, at least putting a dent in the drought. Locally, we just have mainly light rain, and even west of town, very light rain. I'm going to zoom into the south side of San Antonio. That's where most of the active rain is falling. Still damp elsewhere. A little bit of drizzle, a few sprinkles, but the actual rain here, even some embedded moderate showers starting to pop up between 410 and 1604 on the far south side of town. And the importance of this is that I think we're going to see more of that. That's why I like to point out these little downpours that pop up just east of Buena Vista near Bronick Lake as well along 37, because we're going to see more of those. We'll take a look at our latest futurecast and how much more rain we could see, and another update on radar in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. Now to what could be a smelly solution. Actually, we have that in a little bit.
We're going to talk about where you should put your rain gauge first, though. A few tips here. If you want to measure the record rain that we've had already this month and more to come, where do you put the rain gauge to find the best spot for that? We have a breakdown of where and why. Scan this QR code to go to KSAT.com.
Now we go from rain readers to soggy solutions to smelly solutions. A 75-home neighborhood in North Bexar County on the verge of fixing a decade-long sewage problem.
Yeah, that sounds like a big problem. The Villas at Timberwood has its own septic system, but its HOA says it doesn't work well enough.
In part because of their location on the Edwards Aquifer contribution zone. Garrett Berger tells us the county has stepped in to try to help.
Motion carries.
People living in the Villas at Timberwood had 2 million reasons to rejoice today, as Bexar County commissioners awarded federal dollars from the American Rescue Plan Act to their HOA so they can connect to the San Antonio water system.
How does it feel to be getting that money today?
It's a tremendous relief. It's been like a pressure building for 10 years and not knowing what's going to happen. And
homeowners in the far North Bexar County neighborhood, which KSAT Investigates visited in 2019, say it's far from money down the drain. They say the on-site septic facility in their 12-year-old community was poorly designed and inadequate.
There are frequently days when we're asked not to shower, wash clothes, flush toilets. If it's raining too much, we don't have space for that.
There have also been more unpleasant experiences.
At one point, there was a pipe sticking out of the ground that would spew water 25 feet or more into the air. And the stench was just awful.
County staff called it a threat to public health. An HOA board member says gray water from the system can end up in a standing pool on the septic field, depending on the weather.
So that's overflow or backup from the septic system?
Well, it's just release from the septic system that won't be absorbed. And what happens, it ends up trickling down toward Mustang Creek, and that's where it ends up.
The HOA sued the original developer and a home builder over the issues. The court records show the case is ongoing. The HOA says they've reached a settlement, which, while not enough to pay for the whole $2.5 million project, will help pay for the rest. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
We've got some answers today surrounding the Illinois murderer who ended up in Natalia last night, taking his own life. We had it for you on the night beat. Illinois law enforcement confirmed today that 23-year-old Romeo Nance went on a shooting spree Sunday, killing 8 and injuring 1. It happened in Joliet, which is near Chicago. Police say Nance is related to 7 of those people. While it seems he has no connections or family in Texas, he headed south from the Chicago area, stealing some Texas license plates and putting them on his car to throw off law enforcement. It didn't work. Monday night, the U.S. Marshals caught up with him in Natalia, just 30 miles southwest of San Antonio.
Task force officers with the United States Marshals Service observed Mr. Nance armed with a firearm fleeing from the vehicle. It's at that time they gave chase to him. He rounded the corner around the gas station and decided to take his life.
We did confirm this afternoon that Texas Rangers now taking the lead on this investigation, trying to help figure out a motive and where Nance may have been heading.
Despite yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, U.S. Border Patrol is still reviewing it before they start to remove the razor wire along the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass. Now, that ruling allows the wire to be taken down. It does not say that it must be taken down. That 5-4 vote yesterday was a victory for the Biden administration in its ongoing dispute with Governor Greg Abbott and the state's Operation Lone Star. The ruling yesterday is only a temporary injunction, as this case will be heard by a federal appeals court sometime next month.
Now to the case of an attorney imposter. A man out on bond for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon is behind bars again. This time accused of violating bond by saying he was an attorney and a government employee.
Henry Barrocal was recently thrown out of the Justice Center after tampering with a jury pool. Eric Hernandez takes a look at this bizarre case.
You were outside speaking to the jurors, yes or no. You took it upon yourself to tamper with the jury.
Henry Barrocal didn't say much after being questioned by Judge Stephanie Boyd a little over a week ago. Barrocal was allegedly talking to potential jurors in a courthouse hallway about a kidnapping case that was expected to go to trial. He told the court he was a federal employee but couldn't provide any proof. Judge Boyd had to reset the case and had Barrocal removed from the Justice Center. It was later revealed that Barrocal was out on bond for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The most troubling issue about this case was that Barrocal was allegedly able to impersonate an attorney and enter the Bexar County Jail on multiple occasions to speak with his clients. We asked the Bexar County Sheriff's Office how he was able to get through. In an email, the Sheriff's Office says no records exist of him scheduling in-person visits, but when he was not incarcerated, he did have video visitations with inmates. A spokeswoman says, quote, "We are in the process of looking into video visitations scheduled completed during the time he was not incarcerated. If Mr. Barrocal made the video visitations under the guise of him being an attorney, we will share those findings with you." In the meantime, he is now back behind bars for violating bond, and his bond has been increased to $500,000. And if he is able to make bond again, he cannot have any contact with the 187th District Court, Judge Boyd, and any criminal defendant currently in the Bexar County Jail. A psych evaluation was also ordered to be completed on Barrocal. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Also happening at the courthouse, jury selection took place in a murder case from 2021. Roger McCracken, accused of fatally shooting 34-year-old Ronnie Riddle outside a Southeast Side apartment complex. Opening statements expected tomorrow morning. If found guilty, McCracken faces up to life in prison. The lone Republican candidates, Nikki Haley and former President Donald Trump, going head-to-head in New Hampshire as we speak.
Yeah, the final polling average from ABC's 538 shows that Trump has stretched his lead in the Granite State. But as ABC's Morgan Norwood reports, Haley says that she is still locked in.
New Hampshire voters are headed to the polls to decide their candidate in the nation's first GOP primary.
I'm saying get out and vote. This is important.
The first ballots cast overnight in Dixville Notch, a midnight tradition. All 6 voters picking Nikki Haley, who's locked into a tense showdown with former President Donald Trump for the Republican nomination.
But I love this state. We've done well here before. In 2016, I came here. I sort of needed a victory, and I won by 21 points.
And the stakes are clear to voters. They spoke with our Eva Pilgrim.
Why do you think it's so important for people to vote in this primary? Because the country's a mess.
Donald Trump is looking to deliver a knockout victory over Nikki Haley. He scooped up support from former rivals who each ended their own campaigns before backing him.
We need Donald Trump. America needs Donald Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump.
If you want 4 more years of Donald Trump, let me hear you scream.
Trump with a machine of support, but Haley has put a lot of muscle into her own campaign, crisscrossing the state for over 41 days, with 81 events compared to Trump's 15 days on the trail and 17 rallies. And though Trump is leading by double digits, she's hoping to pull off a major upset, visiting polling locations today to pull in votes one handshake at a time.
I fight the political class. Donald Trump has the political class surrounding him. That's not what Americans want.
And meanwhile, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and their spouses are holding a rally in Virginia to discuss abortion access. And Nikki Haley says win or lose, she is committed to staying in this race at least through Super Tuesday. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Let's take a look at traffic out there right now with the wet roads, all this drizzle, not a pretty commute. Things definitely slow going I-35 at Loop 410, as they usually are this time of day, especially in the northbound lanes, but definitely a little more give and take and probably slow going because of the weather out there.
We're just getting started here at 6. And, one of the things that makes San Antonio such a great city, the food. It's officially restaurant week, but it goes much deeper than a few sweet deals for customers. Why it means so much for your local favorites. Next on the news at 6. Here's a look at what's coming your way on the night beat. We know the heavy rain on Sunday night made for a messy commute yesterday. Well, several drivers stranded in high water. And tonight on the night beat, we're going to hear from one of them, a woman who was rescued along with her little girl by San Antonio firefighters. That story and more on the night beat at 10.
It is once again Restaurant Week in San Antonio. Special meals and deals being offered all over the Alamo City to highlight our local chefs and eateries.
I'm glad we're bringing you this story right at dinner time.
Right?
But Restaurant Week means more than just saving a few bucks. So many restaurants are still reeling from the hits they took during the pandemic.
Yeah, Max Massey stepped into the kitchen at Southerly Haute South to talk to their chef about the challenges that local restaurants still face.
We're just going to bread some shrimp for a po' boy.
Chef Jeff Balfour specializes in cuisine, Texas taste, and Southern culture. Chef Jeff started his journey back in the kitchen in the 1990s.
Way back in the day when being a chef wasn't too cool.
It's been a winding path, but today's obstacles are unique, including the pandemic, inflation, and even sporadic weather hitting margins for local restaurants.
Summer definitely was one of those ones that was like, kind of blew our mind. On how much that affected us.
Restaurant Week is a way to help families eat local, and it has been effective. Culinaria, who helps organize Restaurant Weeks, they tell us that restaurant traffic rises by around 60% during these restaurant weeks, and that includes a 20% increase in new customers.
Restaurant Weeks was started to fulfill a gap in restaurants' traffic. So this entire program is made and built to streamline people into restaurants.
It's no surprise, life around us, it's not getting any cheaper.
Going to the grocery store is so expensive. And chefs, their food is so expensive. And so it's really a delicate balance of making sure that their costs are right, that the expectation is right.
We don't want to ever make it where it's too excessive, and just trying to run a tight ship. Restaurant Week is hugely important for us. Like, we love the fact that, we have a Restaurant Week coming up. They're always timed perfectly.
Chef Jeff tells us there is a strategic plan.
We want to be just fancy enough, not too fancy. We want to have food that's approachable.
And of course, value for local families plays a huge part.
So I like the shrimp po' boy to look like the ones that I grew up with. You got to barely be able to pick it up.
Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Looks pretty good. More than 100 local favorites have implemented Restaurant Week menus. There is a complete breakdown of what you need to know on KSAT.com right now. But hurry, Restaurant Week officially ends this Saturday on the 27th.
About a week left to help out people in need. January National Blood Donor Month, and our KSAT community partners helping people schedule their donations. If you want to donate for the first time, or if you're a pro, just visit donatebloodtoday.com to schedule that donation.
Let's take a look outside with live cam. Not often we get a day that is soggy from start to finish, but here we are, Adam, and how much longer is this going to last?
We have another day of this. We're about halfway through of this stretch of sogginess and dampness, which has been good for the aquifer. It's already up over 4 feet since the rainfall began. Now, speaking of rainfall accumulations, this is in San Antonio, this rain gauge, nearly 4 inches measured in the last 48 hours. It's been a while since we've had accumulations on that order. Okay, take a look at Authority radar. Heaviest rain still east of San Antonio, this broken line from Nixon Smiley northeastward to Gonzales, stretching all the way up to I-10. That's where the heaviest rain is. It's crossing over I-10 as we speak, likely to be causing some travel disruptions there on that stretch of I-10. And then a few more downpours as we head westward in and around Seguin. We talked about these at 5 o'clock, how they just flared up. Geronimo getting in on some of that activity as well. Just some downpours around Geronimo. These are going to be pretty short-lived because they're moving at 30 miles miles per hour, so they're not going to last all that long. Shows you that motion from the southwest to the northeast. In and around town, we still have dampness and some areas of drizzle, but the actual rain is now on the south and east side of town, about to cross over I-10. So here's a little heavier rain closer to China Grove and Adkins near Lone Oak, right in between the two, near Sayers here. And this is headed off to the northeast, at a little pocket of heavy rain. And I really like to point that out because I think we'll see more of that in the hours ahead. To time this out, say for Zool, as it's headed your way, it's going to make it to Zool at 6:37 p.m. is when you can expect that downpour in the Zool area. Off to the west, it's all very light in nature. We'll take it. I wish we could see some embedded heavier rain showers, especially in the hill country, because that's where we really need the rain. Speaking of needing the rain, at 6:45, I'm just about done with the map. We've got the drought monitor along with how much rain has fallen in the areas that we need it. But this is all light rain off to the west here. Quick look at Authority Radar's total rainfall estimates since this began. This is a 5-day total, but really since it began on Sunday. And I'm just going to widen out here. Look at this. Isn't this good to see for us? Most of it east of town, but a few nice streaks and swaths right up and down I-35. Again, the complete breakdown with the rain gauge measurements coming up at 6:45 as I just about done gathering that data. 70% chance tonight into tomorrow, Thursday morning, a 20% chance. Friday, another 20% chance as a cold front starts to move in. Basically, one more damp day, and then we will have some sunshine and quite a bit of it mixed in. This is an active pattern, though. You see a lot of precipitation. Lone Star State eastward into parts of Arkansas and Louisiana, and another disturbance here over Phoenix. That's headed our way. Within this upper level trough and upper level flow, we have these embedded bursts of energy above us that help kickstart some of these showers and storms. And we are expecting some more moderate and even heavy downpours as we progress through the night. Don't pay close attention to the exact location here on the Futurecast, just the mere fact that it is on board with developing more of the embedded heavier showers. And of course, overall accumulations will really depend on exactly where those pop up, but expect them periodically tonight through the morning commute. Don't be surprised if you hear a little bit of thunder tonight and see a flash of lightning, and even that's off and on throughout the day tomorrow. In general, about an inch or so around San Antonio, higher amounts east of town where we have the downpours. Really quickly, so far this month, 4.82 inches at the airport, and that's 1.43 above average for a change. Damp off and on tomorrow, near 60 most of the day. 50s in the morning, near 60 in the afternoon. Cold front making it windy on Saturday, but at least we'll be above freezing.
Look at us, above average. How about that?
I don't know if I need a snack, but, you know, it was restaurant week.
Yeah.
We showed all that good food.
Mm-hmm.
Now Mary's going to make me talk about McDonald's. There's all kinds of food in this show today at 6 o'clock, Mary.
Yeah, that's a beautiful segue. Highly touted prospect out of Clark High School, Ariana Roberson, was named a 2024 McDonald's All-American. The last local female athlete to make the roster, current WNBA star Melissa Smith. This morning, we chatted with the 2019 and 2023 Valero Texas Open champion Corey Connors, and we learned of some big names who will headline this year's field. Today's 6'4" star forward out of Clark High School, Ariana Roberson, was selected as a 2024 McDonald's All-American. Roberson is on the West roster, who will tip off against the East team in Houston at the Toyota Center April 2nd. Right now, the Duke signee is averaging a double-double, 17 points and 12 rebounds for the Cougars, who are in the midst of an outstanding 24-2 season, although she's missed the last few games with an ankle injury. All right, the 102nd edition of the Valero Texas Open will be played in San Antonio from April 4th to the 7th. But today, a press conference was held to welcome back defending champion Corey Connors and to release some of the high-profile names that will be trying to make sure Connors doesn't repeat as champion for the third time. Names like Rory McIlroy, Max Homa and Colin Morikawa, just to name a few. Connors shared what it's like to see so many high-profile players eager to play in the Texas Open.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I think this is a great event that just shows what the players think of it. The staff and Larson, Valero are great supporters of the tour, and they do a really amazing job with this tournament. A lot of the players speak so highly of this event. Not surprising that some of the big stars want to come and play, and I know I'm looking forward to trying to take them down.
You can feel the competitiveness. All right, the Valero Texas Open is going to be here before you know it. It's only 72 days away. Several players around the NBA had exceptional scoring outings last night, and it just so happened to coincide with the 18-year anniversary of the late Kobe Bryant's legendary 81-point performance. 76ers superstar Joel Embiid was one of them. Embiid dropped 70 points and grabbed 18 rebounds in the 133-123 win over the Spurs. There was plenty of anticipation to see San Antonio rookie Victor Wembanyama go head-to-head with yet another all-time player for the first time. Wembanyama paced the Spurs with 33 points and 7 rebounds in 29 minutes, helping San Antonio keep the game within striking distance until the very end. But Wembanyama felt like he could have done more to combat the reigning MVP, according to head coach Greg Popovich.
Yeah, Victor wanted to go back on the court and play, but he just can't, with the minutes restriction. It doesn't work. What was really tough for him is he wanted to be out there while Joel was out there the whole time, but the minute things doesn't work because Joel plays more minutes and we couldn't keep him. He'd be done halfway through the third quarter. He wouldn't be able to play anymore because of the minute deal, but it was fun to watch them all play.
Yeah, Embiid played 36 minutes, and Pop said Wembanyama's minutes restriction could be lifted any day, but he's still unsure when. But right now, the Spurs are more concerned about potentially being without their glue guy, Trey Jones, when the team hosts OKC tomorrow night at 8:30. Jones sustained a left ankle sprain last night. We'll share with you the latest on his status for tomorrow night, tonight on the Night Beat.
Yeah, that's an injury they don't want to have to deal with.
Definitely not.
Glue guy. I also like that.
Yeah.
Glue guy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
And coming up after the break, we're going to talk with the president of the San Antonio Police Officers Association about his latest concerns about the district attorney's office. Our KSAT Q&A up next. Former San Antonio police officers not being treated equally in Bexar County courtrooms by the district attorney's office. That is part of a statement that was issued yesterday by the San Antonio Police Officers Association. And it leads to our conversation right now with President Danny Diaz of SAPOA. Danny, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Why did you think you needed to put out that statement yesterday? And you're talking specifically about mistrials when it comes to former police officers.
Well, there's a pattern, right? And the pattern is this. If we're having mistrials and we're not disclosing evidence, then should those officers have been charged to begin with? Is this civil rights division unit there specifically to bring charges amongst officers where it's a must and evidence isn't turned over so that they can assure the prosecutor to get a conviction? But all we're asking for is due process. Evidence should be turned in at discovery at the very beginning. The officers have the right to due process and a fair trial just like any other citizen does. And quite frankly, that's all we're asking for. If they're hiding evidence, then the question for me is, should they have been charged to begin with?
I want to read a statement from the DA's office that he issued last night after your statement that we had on KSAT on the Night Beat. It comes from Pete Gallego. If we can put that statement up. Our ultimate goal is to seek justice. It is critical that our office give opposing counsel all information they are entitled to. When, for whatever reason, that does not happen, we will disclose the error. Is that enough for you?
No. And bottom line is this. Wednesday, when that trial was when the judge decided it was a mistrial, they were quick to blame the juvenile department, right? Where's the accountability? Every time that something goes wrong, the finger gets pointed at the judges, the bonds, now the juvenile department. Bottom line is all these people are under one individual, and that's the DA. Look, our officers are out doing the best that they can and arresting people. Our arrests are up, and we're making cases. Unfortunately, we're arresting the same people over and over and over again because they're continuously being let out, and that's an issue. It's a safety issue for the community, and that's why I'm speaking out.
And to give people kind of a background about what we're talking about, this mistrial involved a former SAPD officer. The case declared a mistrial because evidence was not turned over by the prosecution in a timely manner. That was the reason for that. To your point about, you say officers continue to arrest the same people over and over again. The issue of repeat offenders is one that, at least publicly, has been kind of at the root of tension between officers and the DA's office, since several officers were shot while pursuing suspects dating back to late August of last year. This continues to be a problem. We're months down the road. We've been told that some conversations have happened to hopefully get us to make some progress, but where do we go from here? What do you think needs to happen now?
Well, I'll tell you, the conversations, for whatever reasons, we're excluded from it. We're the individuals that actually do the job. Now, there's committees in place with the chief, with the DA, whoever else is in there. From my standpoint, and if you listen to the chief speak at some of these scenes, he's just as frustrated as we are, and he'll state it. It's the same people over and over and over again. But with what's transpired over the last couple of hearings against officers, what has it done on a big picture? One, again, the question of should these officers have been charged to begin with, because in one case, one of the officers, the charges were dropped completely and the evidence wasn't given. Another thing is this: officers see what's going on in court. Now they're going to start being hesitant, worried about, are they going to be in trouble if they're doing their job? That's another thing. And with the way things have been going out, look, we've had a little over, I want to say 36 officer-involved shootings in a year. Average over decades was 15, if that. We're way over. Why is this happening? It's because it's the same individuals that are not being held accountable for the crimes that they commit. They're being let out by the DA. And it's like they can just do whatever they want and feel that there's no respect for anybody and get away with it.
Do your officers feel safer today than they did last August?
No, sir, not at all. It's been a detriment to not only morale, but officers are their safety is what worries them, right? Because they can arrest somebody and take him to jail for an aggravated assault, but by the time they get back out on the street after doing their report, whatever it may be, that individual is going to be let out. And so here we go again.
But Danny, why point the finger at the DA? Because I mean, the justice system plays a part in this too. I mean, he can ask for a bond, but a judge ultimately sets the bond, and whether they get back out again and what happens in a courtroom is obviously officiated by a judge in all of this. Why the finger pointing towards the DA specifically? Because
no one's looking at the big picture besides us. We've been showing data where they consistently just release individuals on deferred adjudication, whatever deferred it is that they want. And he's even made statements as to, well, we have the right as attorneys to plea out on cases to get a stronger conviction on others. I understand that. The problem here is that they're pleading out on felonies to get convictions on misdemeanors. It's the other way around. If the individual committed a crime against a person, they should be paying the price that they need to for harming an individual. The magic number now is 20 to 25 that they plead out murder and capital murder cases. Why don't you let our peers decide? When a jury decides those individuals are spending or getting 70 plus years, why are we leaving it up to the DA? Again, these people are getting out sooner, or they're just allowing them to leave, and it's causing us an issue. San Antonio police officers and its association do not have a problem with giving an individual a second chance, right? We all make mistakes, no one's perfect. The problem here is we've got individuals that have committed robberies, rapes, shot at officers that have been released for the same thing 10, 12, 13 times. That is wrong. and it's just his doing.
Before we let you go, Danny, you talked about how you, the union officers, have not been part of these conversations to figure out how we make progress, how a solution is reached. You've just been reelected as the president of the union.
Yes, ma'am.
So in your position, is there anything that you want in this next term for the union to do, or action you hope can be taken in this leadership role, or, you know, anything involving the union to find a solution?
Well, from our standpoint is educating the community. Look, it's not just about officer safety. These individuals that are being let out are harming the citizens of San Antonio. That should not happen. So we're going out educating them on the actions of the DA. They are all statistics that are his actual statistics on individuals that he's let out, whether it's him, the bond, probation, whatever it may be. But the majority of it is his. He is the head honcho of it and should be taking accountability for what he's doing. It is a safety issue for the community, and that's our biggest thing. Educating them to let them know, look, this can happen. There are some things in place that we can work on through the governor's office with House Bill 17, but that's a work in progress. We have to show the inconsistencies, right, and how these people are being released or not charged, and then go from there.
Danny Diaz, president of the San Antonio Police Officers Association. Always appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank
And
you.
we should mention also that we have extended an offer to the DA to join us here on this very segment to talk about these issues as well. We'll be right back.
A live look outside with our live cam. The sun has set. It's dark, but you can see the reflection off the roadway, indicative of the damp commute we had again this evening after a very foggy and damp morning commute. Oh, you see a little road spray there too. You can see that. You saw that car zooming by left to right. You can see the road spray. We're going to be dealing with this for another day. More damp commutes are on the way. The heaviest of the rain currently is east of San Antonio. This is where we have a little bit of convection. Some thunderstorms popping up, non-severe thunderstorms. We'll take a look at the rainfall estimates along with rain gauge reports where we need it on top of the latest drought monitor. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Even though they are allowed to take it down now, border agents have not touched the razor wire along the Rio Grande, at least not yet. The Supreme Court ruled yesterday that agents are allowed to remove that wire that was originally installed by Texas as part of Operation Lone Star. Customs and Border Patrol is still reviewing that decision, and the wire won't be removed unless further guidance is issued.
The police in Illinois confirming 23-year-old Romeo Nance killed 8 people Sunday before taking his own life at an Italia gas station last night. Nance said to be related to 7 of his 8 victims. He had no connections to Texas that are known of, but he drove south after his killing spree and stole license plates on his way here to throw off law enforcement. Texas Rangers taking the lead on this investigation.
A woman and her 5 pets are thankful to be alive after an early morning house fire. This happened at a home on the east side just after 7 today. Crews haven't confirmed what started this fire, but they are zeroing in on a heater at the front of the house that may have sparked the flames. And that's your 60-second recap.
All right, so we've been keeping an eye, obviously, on the rain and how it's helping the huge drought that we're having in South Texas. Also a little bit more humid today, Adam, than I remember.
You noticed that, didn't you? Yeah, dew point in the low to mid 60s today. So we felt that mugginess outside, not the dry chill of last week and previous days. Here's the drought monitor, and notice the red area here in the center part of the screen. This encompasses all of San Antonio and Bexar County and even surrounding counties as well, especially Comal, Kendall, Kerr, Bandera, and even Medina counties quite a bit. That's where we need the rain the most. You look at the actual rain gauge measurements since Sunday, and we have some sweet spots, that's for sure. San Antonio International, 3.66. Canyon Lake Dam, 3.20 inches. Sattler, 3.91. Stone Oak, about 3.59. Downtown, 2.82. So it's nice to see good soaking rainfall in these drought-stricken areas. And the aquifer has responded as well. It's up over 4 feet in that time frame. This is in the Vineyard, Stone Oak area, 2.88 inches from this tipping bucket rain gauge. This isn't the tipping bucket. The tipping bucket's outside. The style of rain gauge is a tipping bucket rain gauge. It's not your typical just cylinder. That's for another day. Let's talk about the aquifer and accumulations. We highlighted the area where we really want the rain in the aquifer zones, which is the recharge zone here in the middle, that thin line, and then the contributing zone. And the 48-hour rain has really been pretty good in the recharge and contributing zone on the order of 2 to 4 inches. So that's nice to see. That's why the aquifer's still responding. But I want more, and we'll continue to get more. Over the next few days, another 1 to 2 inches likely, especially east of San Antonio. Locally, it's all going to depend on where the heaviest rain sets up. We'll have some heavy downpours periodically and very isolated in nature. The accumulations locally are going to depend on those. Where we have those in those neighborhoods, which is just through tomorrow, that potential, you could easily see over an inch of rain. Here's the latest authority radar, and things have quieted down in San Antonio for the time being. Most of the rain has pushed off to the northeast, but I mentioned those heavier showers. Here we have some of them just moved through Zool, Marion, starting to fall apart a little bit. Geronimo and northward, just east of Zorn as well. And then the really heavy rain. This is training rain, so the showers that follow each other like train cars. This is the training rain from Nixon, Smiley up to Gonzales, even northward to LaGrange. It crosses over I-10. That's where we've had the heaviest rain this afternoon. So you look at just the last 12 hours on the radar here and look at these accumulations. We can get right down into Gonzales and look at these numbers here on the northwest side of Gonzales, 2.3 inches. Where you see the yellow. Whenever you see yellow on this screen, it indicates at least 2 inches of rain that has already fallen. Of course, we'll continue to add to these totals locally and beyond. Here's a quick look at our future cast, and don't pay attention to the exact location of the heavy rain it paints, say at 11 p.m. Just the mere fact that it's on board for more rain coming and going, and embedded within the light rain will be a few of the pockets of heavier rain periodically. I don't expect it to be very long-lived, but a few rumbles of thunder are possible through the night and even the morning commute tomorrow. Damp morning commute, damp evening commute tomorrow, then the sun comes back out on Thursday. Stray shower Thursday morning, then sunny and 70, Friday a 20% chance, but 70 degrees in this weekend. Cool mornings near 40, but afternoons in the 60s.
Yeah, with some sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Adam.
Gators and cat rescues. Two separate stories, so not related. Coming up next in the buzz. A lot of animals in the buzz, because you see, people aren't the only ones trying to stay warm this winter. This alligator at a rescue center in Beaumont, see that, stuck his snout out of the water right there before it froze over the weekend.
Okay, there's a name for this, actually. It is a phenomenon called brumation. It's kind of like hibernation for cold-blooded creatures. This gator and some of the others, they were just sleeping peacefully as they waited for the ice to thaw out.
Smart gator.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, talk about a heroic hobby here. This South Jersey man combined two passions into one. Stephen Moreau is a professional tree climber and an animal lover.
Put them together when cats get stuck in trees. Stephen is the man with a plan. Last year, Moreau made sure 39 cats stuck in the sky brought down safely. He says he's always been an animal lover, never asked for compensation from the families of the furry friends he rescues.
How about that?
All right, let's go to Fort Worth now. They're welcoming a newborn giraffe to town. Corbell, named for the popular champagne, was born just a few hours after the ball dropped New Year's Day.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
This 6'3" baby is a third-generation giraffe at the Fort Worth Zoo. The zoo just introduced him via social media, though, because it is still too cold outside for this newborn.
I like that name, Corbell.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, this pup in Pennsylvania being hailed a hero for preventing what could have been an explosive situation. Kobe dug a hole in his yard last month, something his owner says that he's never done before. A week later, he started digging in that same spot again.
Yeah, his owner checked it out and smelled a low-pressure gas leak where the dog was digging. The gas company came, fixed it, then shared the story on social media. PETA even got wind of the story. They gave Kobe an award.
That is very lucky. Job well done. We'll be right back. That is all our time here at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
See you on the Night Beat.